You are listening to Real Men Feel with Andy Grant. Real Men Feel encourages men to allow and express all of their emotions. Despite what you may have been taught, all emotions do serve you. Real Men Feel is committed to engaging in discussions that most men aren't having, but all men can benefit from. All links mentioned in each episode are in the show notes found on the blog at realmenfeel.org. Now, let's get to it. Hello and welcome to a special edition of Real Men Feel. We're recording this, and hopefully I'll release this. It's Easter Sunday, and I'd been wanting to connect with a recent guest. I first spoke to Kevin Fitzmaurice 2 months ago, which in Corona time feels like at least 2 years ago. But Kevin was so open and authentic about how he's dealt with depression and anxiety, and he was someone that I don't want to say I was worried about during this crazy time, but I was thinking about him. And as this pandemic has continued on, so I've worked from home for like 15 years and I don't have children. So my life really hasn't changed that much. So the first couple of weeks since everything got locked down, I was like, this is cool. You know, I've got things canceling, I'm converting them, but I'm like been busier than ever. There's a lot going on. And so I'm reaching out, communicating, touching base with people. Then about a week ago, a couple mornings I woke up and just had this sadness, this weight. And I would try to like feel into it and nothing would happen. There were no tears. There was nothing happening. And it almost felt like I was on antidepressants. Like I felt like there was this block, like I couldn't get as low as I was used to. And then I was thinking, well, I did a lot of work last year. I had this whole ancestral clearing with the modern mystery school kind of just that was meant to really take with the energy of depression and suicidal thoughts away from me forever and to clear my entire lineage. And I think, well, maybe that is my hitting that. I'm just like with the darkness I'm used to really is gone. And, I sat with this for a few days and I was meditating on it and like, what's going on? And it finally dawned on me that I was afraid to feel. I was afraid that if I felt the sadness, the grief, the remorse around, this crazy time, there's so much fear filling people. And we can joke about the, hoarding toilet paper, but there's a lot of genuine fear in people of what's today going to bring, what's tomorrow going to bring, what's the future look like for us as human beings and the economy and all of that. But I realized I was afraid to feel because I was going to discover that, all the darkness is right there. And I would be, if I let myself get sad, it was not going to end. I was going to spiral down into depression, into suicidal thoughts. And I was like, all right, well, what do I do with that? How do I keep going? What can I do to get through that? And I was just willing to have that acknowledgement kind of simmer for a while. And it was really just this Thursday, just a few days ago, I did Panache Desai is one of my favorite human beings. He's been doing a free 9 a.m. meditation open to everybody. And I was on at the 9 a.m. and it was, surround yourself with love and embrace all the different parts of you. I'm like, oh, that's neat. And it ends. And I'm like, okay. And I decide to watch the Disturbed has this amazing cover of The Sounds of Silence. And they made a special video that's Corona themed. And it's all black and white and empty cities. And I just decided to watch it again. I hit play. And 30 seconds into it, I'm bawling. And I'm bawling for like the next 2 minutes solid till the song ends. And then I stopped bawling. And I was like, hey, I did it. I finally like broke through my barrier and I didn't just keep going. And I've never felt so excited and relieved to cry. And I could just let go of what I felt like I'd been carrying. And I got through it. And a couple times later that day, just random things on the news, not random things, but sad things on the news are the things I would cry again just for a few seconds and then move on. And I felt so joyous again since that time. But it was just really weird. But this is the longest intro I've ever had. I reached out to Kevin and I wanted to talk to him when I was feeling this stuckness to see what his emotional experience of this pandemic was and to check in with him. So that's still what I want to do. So now that I've done this, like what feels like a 40-minute introduction to this, Kevin. So welcome back to the show, Kevin. I have not talked to you since we did the regular guy chat for Real Men Feel, again, just 2 months ago. But so how are you, my friend?
I'm good, man. I mean, I appreciate everything you just shared. That was so powerful because it's true. I feel like resistance is like the biggest thing for us. We want to resist those feelings. We want to resist depression. We don't want to we ruminate on the experiences we have. Oh man, I remember when I was really depressed. And right now, I mean, it's a cesspool of depression, anxiety, overthinking. What are we doing right now? We're all stuck at home with our thoughts alone. We don't have friends to try to make us feel better. We don't have distractions in the outside world. We don't have the busybodies. And so it's a really tough time, but man, I'm trying to do my part. Big thing for me, obviously I know for you, is fitness. We're both two guys that are big into fitness and dieting, and that's been a struggle. That's been really tough.
Yeah, the coronavirus diet has not been my friend. All the weight that I have lost through 2020, like I had a holiday, Christmas, New Year's peak of weight. I was like, oh my God, this is horrible. And I probably dropped like 17 pounds, and they're all back. Just in like 2 weeks, they're just, well, that didn't last long.
It is so hard, and that's been like a real big struggle for me because I've always used exercise. Like, in my personal opinion, exercise is the perfect antidepressant, anti-anxiety medication, whatever pill you want to take. If they could make a magic pill that would fix all your problems, it would be exercise. And so for me, it's been huge doing CrossFit over at CrossFit 696 in Gardner, Massachusetts. And when they shut the doors, I won't lie, I got scared. I got really depressed, and I was like, it wasn't my normal depression where like I sunk into that hole. It was well, hell, what am I gonna do now? I don't have that anymore. I don't have that thing. So that was really tough for me. But I've tried to adapt. Home workouts get really boring. Burpees and body squats and push-ups and sit-ups, and you can only do so many for like a week at a time. You're like, come on, what are we doing? So I've been trying to actually get out into nature. We're lucky that this didn't happen 2 months ago when we were talking, when it was snow and cold and we couldn't go outside. Now we're getting 40 and 50 degree weather and some sunshine. So I'm trying to do that. But yeah, I mean, it's really tough because we don't really have a purpose as a community right now, and as a nation and as people. We don't have their busybody routine lives. We don't have work. We don't have school. We don't have the gym. Our kids aren't in school. We're not going in and having, birthday parties on the weekends, and we're all shut in. So I can't tell you how many people I've come in contact with that are like, oh man, my mental health is rough. Like, I'm overthinking like crazy. But I think this is a great challenge for us, because think about what we're all going to be when we get out of this,
You mentioned not having a purpose, and you listed all these different things, which from my perspective, well, those are all activities.
Yes.
Were those really your purpose? And
no, not at all.
Okay, cool.
And exactly. I agree with that. I'm glad you just asked that, because that's not our purpose as human beings. I think what people are going to realize through this pandemic is that our purpose lies in our family and how we feel about ourselves, and how we can be still, how we can actually sit with those thoughts and work with them, how we can wrestle with depression when, man, I don't have all these outside purposes or distractions that I normally had in my life. Like, you shouldn't really be defined, like your career and whatever you do for work, that's amazing. And you should be very, very proud of yourself. But that's not your end all be all. That doesn't define who you are as a person. How you feel about yourself, how you handle things, what goes on inside of your head as far as, the things you believe in, the thoughts that you either choose to follow or you choose to pass. And that's been something that's been huge for me, because I'm an overthinker. I'm an anxious person. I have an anxious brain. I've had depression. So we have thoughts, and sometimes they're intrusive. We talked a lot last time me and you sat down about intrusive thoughts and disturbing thoughts and depression and anxiety thoughts. But I've actually done this therapy where it's like you envision thoughts as passing clouds. And there's so many clouds in the sky, and we have thousands of thoughts every day. When you look up at the sky and you're laying down in the field, it's nice, a spring or summer day, and you look up, you choose what clouds to look at. And not all clouds are going to grab your attention, but you're going to see a cloud and it's going to get your attention. You're going to look at it, and then you're going to start thinking. That's the same thing with thoughts. We don't look at all the clouds, but they're all there. So you choose which one you bring your attention to. So I think for me, that's something that's been really big during all this, because I don't have those distractions and I don't have those quote end quote purposes. I have myself as a human being to sit down, and it's just me and my mom. I'm taking care of my mother. She's got an autoimmune deficiency, so it's really tough because I don't want to bring it home to her. I'm not so worried about me getting it, but if I got it, didn't know it, and brought it home to her and something happened, I'd be devastated. So it's just me and her at home, working from home, doing my JDF Sports podcast, and then trying to stay fit. And I'm trying to find things that I can do to spice up my routine. Last night I hosted a game night with a bunch of friends. We all went on Zoom chat, and one of us put up a board game, and we all played it. And, we're trying to find things. We're trying to do Netflix parties, and I'm hosting group workouts with my friends where we're all, listening to music and yelling at each other, like, come on, push it, you could do it. And it's trying to find this new norm. And it's a really scary time. There's a
Yeah.
lot of uncertainty.
Yeah. And I want to, so you mentioned once the gym closed was kind of your trigger to get that first, like, bolt of fear.
Mm-hmm.
And was it like what I was trying to explain? Was it more like it was a fear of this fear becoming worse?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I don't have my thing now. That's what it was. I don't have my remedy. I don't have my healing, my therapy, which was the gym, because it's a mental challenge. Like when I would go in and you exercise a lot. When you go and you do something that you've never thought you could do before, you get like this, like, boost of confidence. And when you do that, when you physically can do that, it would help me mentally, because I'd be like, wow, look at the workout I just did. I can handle anything. And then I'd start to get anxiety, or I'd feel a panic attack building up, or I'd kind of slip into that depression. I'd be like, I can do this. I can do a lot of things. Look at that physical exercise that I just did, And so it was the fear of not having my escape from my thoughts, because, fitness is great and it's a really positive thing. But what it does is you work out and you build your muscles and you beat the hell out of your body, and then your body releases serotonin and endorphins to repair, and then you feel happy. And that's kind of what antidepressants try to do. They try to level you out and whatnot, but exercise does it naturally. So I didn't have that now. Now I have to rely on my own. I don't have my coach to push me when I'm tired, when I'm dripping sweat and I want to drop my bar. I don't have the whole class, all working out to motivate me. It's now Kevin versus Kevin. And it's been a real challenge. And it's that aspect, that Kevin on Kevin, has been spilled in my whole life. My work ethic at home, as far as my full-time job. I now have to make sure that I set my own goals. And, we check in and we have virtual meetings and stuff, but a lot of the times it's when I'm in my home office and I'm sitting there, it's like, okay, I could do this, or I can go put a new episode of Netflix on, or I can go upstairs and make a sandwich. And so it's like, I've really been challenged a lot throughout this, and my whole perspective. And I was laying in bed this morning thinking, I love coming on here. I love talking with you. Me and you connect very well. We're very, very similar in a lot of aspects. And I'm like, what am I going to talk about? And I went through all these ideas, and there was so much that I wanted to discuss. And, it was just, I just realized that if we don't come out of this whole pandemic as individuals and better people, with closer relationships with ourselves, with our family members, with people that are really close to us, I think we all failed. I think if that's what we all allow to happen, I think that coronavirus wins, because this is a challenge. We are faced now to sit and to feel, and we need to do that. Like you said, I'm so glad you opened up with your introduction there, because that's what we need to do. Because you now have people who are scrambling to do anything, but there's nothing to do because they don't want to feel. They don't want to sit with their depression. But no, do it, embrace it, wrestle with it, work through it right now. This is a perfect opportunity. We don't really have a ton of responsibilities as a nation. Our responsibility is to do your part and stay home.
Yeah. So many things you hit on are worth hitting again. But what stands out a lot to me is I see lots of politicians say, we've got to get back to normal. We've got to get back to normal. And no, I think it's all of our chance to, like, what do we want normal to be for the future? Right? Do we want to be if all Americans, or a majority of Americans, suddenly became comfortable in their own skin? If we could all learn to sit in silence with our thoughts and not try to have distractions, how much would society change from that? So it's really a time, instead of rushing, I want life to return to what it was 3 months ago. No, like, really sit, like, wait, what do I really want life to be? What do I want my family to be? What do I want to do each day? When I can open the door and go see people, what do I want to do with those people? How do I want to connect going forward? I think those are the things worth asking and receiving answers and experiencing that, not just to, oh, good, now I can, go to the movies and go to the bar, or go back into distractions, as you mentioned earlier.
One of my favorite things that you've done, Andy, and I really appreciate you doing it on social media, is you've shared all the positive stories about coronavirus.
Yeah.
You don't share the negative stuff like everyone else is. You're not running and saying, oh, this is bad, this is going to happen, and we're going to fall into a depression in the economy. You're like, hey, look, here's a story about all the people who survived, or here's, and you've shared a lot of really positive stories to get through this. And that's really important. We have to change our perspective.
Yeah.
And my perspective is healing. Because think about it. Dolphins are returning. The ozone layer is getting better. Instinct animals that were going, they're coming back. They're repopulating. the earth is actually healing, and we can do that as human beings. We have stillness now.
Yeah, I've seen one of my favorite memes is like Earth has sent us to our rooms because we've been misbehaving, and it's really feels pretty true, you know.
It is.
And it like, do we come out and we're just pent up, you know, toddlers again, and we're just going to raise hell, or are we going to like, oh yeah, I've learned my lesson, and we can let the Earth heal. We can have clean, beautiful air and water, and you know, it's super powerful. But like 3 weeks ago, when so we're both in Massachusetts, and the first day that our state was really locked down, people that don't normally like or comment on my things on Facebook message me saying, you're my go-to guy. You share the positive stuff, and I'm really counting on you. I was like, wow. So that's what I meant when I was been busy. Like I have upped my social game so much more. And I'm searching, where's good? Wait, I got to find some good. Where's some stories about love? And all right, yeah, go. And I'm sharing so much stuff because I'm like, wow. I'm like, I didn't, you know, I'm gladly taking the mantle of you know, being a beacon of choosing which cloud, which thought to pay attention to. And yeah, I just want the good stuff, because there are, from any natural disaster, man-made disaster, any traumatic, tough times, the best in people does rise up. Mm-hmm. But it's tougher to show that. So that's what I want to highlight, because there's always good. There's always a positive aspect to everything that happens.
I think that it was Mr. Rogers. Somebody put a quote out around 9/11 that said, you know, when I was a boy, I remember seeing, I can't remember what disaster he was referencing, but, you know, I remember seeing blah, blah, blah. And my mother turned to me and she said, instead of watching, you know, the disaster that was going on, look around at all the people that are going and helping, and then restore your faith in humanity.
Yeah. See the helpers.
Yeah. And you could see all these stories of people going nuts in grocery stores, and all these people who are acting out and just being straight, you know, assholes. And you could focus on that. You could focus on the death tolls. You could focus on how bad it's getting. But like, we live in a society where obviously the media controls all the information, and what's going to sell? A story that New York is getting worse and might go into a complete lockdown where people can't leave their house, or the fact that their governor just came out and said that they hit a plateau in cases. They haven't gotten any more, but they haven't gotten any less either. And how that's a positive aspect. But that one doesn't sell. That's just a quick tweet that goes out, and some, you know, people retweet it, and then we all forget about it. But it's the story that catches. So now we're controlled by the media. We're controlled by social media. People don't click on links anymore. They read the headlines and then run away and tell their friends about it. But if you read it, you'll educate yourself way more. And so it's all your perspective. It's all how you want to look at it. And you know, guys like you and I and a lot of other people in this world, we choose to focus on the positive. We choose to see what human beings are doing to help one another. We choose to look at the earth as this is a beautiful thing. The earth is healing, and we can too. Yeah, I talked last week a lot about therapy, and I see a therapist every week, and it's fantastic. And I've been able to do Zoom conversations with her, so I'm still going. Highly suggest everyone to go see a therapist when this is all over. If you can find one now, go for it. But I talked to her, and she says that they did like a study. They went to nursing homes. They asked people, you know, what's your biggest regret in life? And like 85% of the people that they interviewed said they wish that they worked less and spent more time with their family. What do we have the ability to do for the past month and possibly for the next couple of months, couple of weeks, however long this thing lasts? Work less and to spend time with our family. Yeah. I'm actually, I can't wait for the weather to get warmer. Me and my mom are going to build a garden.
Yeah, cool.
I have no idea what I'm doing, but we'll figure it out. We'll get the tools. We'll, you know, as long as the stores are still open, we'll figure it out. And she loves gardening. We've been able to connect. Like, this is a time for us as human beings to fix ourselves, to heal, to feel. To, you know, that thing that you've been running away from for 3 years and using work and, you know, meaningless sex and, you know, drunken nights or whatever toxic things that you're using in your life right now to run away from feeling whatever hurt you, whatever cut you, whatever affected you in your life. If it's a deep-rooted trauma from your childhood, if it's an abusive relationship, if it's you know, seeing a friend or family member pass away, like whatever it is, this is your chance to actually sit with it. And to be still, because that's the beauty of life, is those still moments, those moments where you are so present that you're out of your head and you're just in the moment, because that's all we really have. I mean, we don't know what's going to happen in the next couple of months. Yeah. We're going to make, you know, you can sit at home and be sad and you can waste your time. There's a lot of people I know who are just like sleeping. They're just taking naps and sleep. If that's what you want to do and spend it, go ahead and spend your time. But I see a lot of people who are learning new languages, listening to podcasts, Real Men Feel, JDS Sports Plug, that are, you know, making music, playing instruments, painting, reading a lot of books. Like, That's what we need to do.
Yeah.
We need
Yeah.
to get with us. We need to, like you said, what relationships do you want after this? How do you want to be? What's your legacy going to be like? What kind of person are you going to be when this is all over? How close are you going to be with your family and friends? Now that we aren't connecting with people, what people do you want to get out of your life? What are some shitty people in your life that you just want to, what? They're not helping me. I don't.
Right. Yeah. Who haven't you noticed missing? Who are you glad you're not seeing? And like, can you keep it that way?
Right.
I've been a coach of people. I've been coaching people for 10 years now. And the most common thing I hear is the most common excuse: I don't have enough time. Here are the things I want to do, but I don't have enough time. Well, Everybody's been given time. Even if you're still working, you're not, like, you don't commute. Everyone has more time. So it's a chance to discover, all right, what was my real excuse? Why am I not really doing what I want to do? Why am I not really learning what I want to do? Why am I not using my time like the way I always told myself I would if I had time? And again, it's a way to go in. It's a way to go inside. You mentioned earlier that, we choose to see the positive. We have to choose it. And I want to emphasize that a little bit more, because it's not just a choice of like, oh, I want, tuna fish or ham salad. It's like, no, I have to choose the positive or else I will die. Like, that's what I look, because I was so prone to the negative. It took conscious effort and work to get used to choosing the positive. Now it's easier. But so if you're somewhere where it just, you can't get out of bed, you can't stop sleeping, you just feel it's going to take effort, but the effort is worth it. Right? You'll feel better. You'll have that sense of relief. So if so far your momentum has been one of being down, to being sluggish, of just thinking the worst, of just all this dread, work hard to do some online class. YouTube is full of on-demand classes for any sort of exercise you ever wanted to try. Like, I'm trying Krav Maga today. I know is doing a live, doing a Facebook Live. I'm like, oh, cool. I'll try that.
There you go. That's awesome.
Yeah. So there's lots of things to try to do, but again, it's not a frivolous choice, right? It's life or death. And again, I think it's freaking magical and holy and blessed that we're having this conversation on Easter, right? There's going to be a day we all come out of our tombs. We are all going to resurrect ourselves. And so it's the really opportunity, like, what do I want to be resurrected into? What I want the next phase of life, what I want the next phase of humanity to be. And I hope to God it isn't just back to normal.
What is normal?
Yeah. Normal is what got us here.
Yeah, normal is what got us here. Your daily routine, your 9 to 5, the rat race, that's what brought us here. And now that we're here, what's that like for you? How do you feel? Just something, like you said, your resurrection. This is your chance right now to be still and to figure out who the hell am I? What do I want? What do I want out of life? This is a great time for you to reflect on a lot of things. We don't have the craziness that distracts us, that's put you in auto mode for 8 years, where you're making the same amount of money and you're with the same exact people. But the issue is, if that's what makes you happy and you're genuinely happy, then stick to your normal routine. But if you are waking up mornings and being like, oh, I gotta go to work, like, of course, some of us obviously don't like going to work, but if you really like dread going to your job, like those people who are like, I really wish I was sick today, or I wish that a car hit me on my way to work so I don't have to go in. Like, if you're one of those people, this is your chance to tighten up, to figure out what you want to do. If you're waking up every day and like we talked about before, if you're waking up and these people aren't speaking in your life, if someone hasn't reached out to you to check in on you, or you haven't reached out to them and you're okay with that, if you're realizing that, it's great that I'm not going out with so-and-so because every single time I go out with her, she just brings me down and talks about my outfit and that makes me feel bad about myself, then screw her. Let her go. You don't need her anymore. Like, let's heal as human individuals, as human beings. This is our chance, like you said, to, oh, I don't have the time to do that. No, I can't take an online class. I wish I could play the piano, but I have a piano. It's just collecting dust. I'll probably sell it on Let Go. No, dust that piano off right now and go on YouTube and spend the next 2 weeks learning how to play the damn piano. Because if you don't come out of this pandemic as a better piano player, and you lost. That's it. A buddy of mine texted me the other day. I posted a video of me working out. He texted me. He's like, how do I do these workouts? Like, you lost so much weight. You're in such great shape. And I was like, yeah, man, you're just going to get after it. He's like, man, I can't wait for this whole thing to be over so I can start working out. I can't wait for that. And I was like, what? Dude, you don't have to wait at all. Start right now. He's like, what do I do? Just move. Yeah. Just move. Go for a hike. Go outside and pick up rocks. Like, do anything to get active. You don't have to. I mean, it's tough. Like, I don't have the barbells and the dumbbells and all the things I was before. I worked out with a laundry basket filled with encyclopedias the other day. Like, we have to adjust as a nation here.
That's all right. I want to see the workout video of that. Like, share that with the world. Like,
I will.
That's
But
awesome. That sounds awesome.
These are the type of things that we got to do. We have to adapt. We have to adjust. But this is such a great time for us to just chill, just relax, and just figure out who you want to be. Like, when I wake up now, one thing I've really been struggling with is so I'm working a lot from home. I'm doing my JDF studio is at my house. I'm working out at home. Where's my off switch? That's what I've been struggling with, because before it's like, as soon as you leave the gym, off switch, workout's done. As soon as I leave the office, off switch, I don't have to work anymore. You know, I turn my phone off, my emails off on my phone, and I come home. I don't have that off switch here. So I mentally have been having to try to do it. And I've been working with my therapist on a lot of visuals where when I'm done with work, I actually unplug all my phone, because I brought my phone home from work. I unplug it. I close my laptop. I turn the screen off, and I actually put a towel over my phone and my screen and my computer, because it's mentally not there. But I physically can't see it, so mentally I can't do it. So I've been struggling with turning off my off switch. So you talked about how those choices, every single day that I wake up, I make a choice of how I'm going to spend my day. And although it's, things happen and life gets a little bit crazy, I make sure that I commit to those choices that I make. So, for example, today is a day where I told myself I wanted to be still. I wanted to spend time relaxing. So I got up, I listened to my church, going to talk with you, make some lunch. And then the rest of the day, I'm going to listen to some podcasts and read some books. And I made that choice that today is going to be a day for inwardness, for self-reflection, for where am I at right now? Last time we talked, I talked a lot about my struggles with mental health and with my anxiety and my depression. And I've been making tremendous progress. And it's been so beautiful to me to see it, because when you're in it and you're in the storm, you don't see how much progress because you're still in the storm. Like, when the storm's over, then you see how much progress you made. But I've actually had the ability to look back and see my reflection with this storm. So with this, think about it. Was months ago, I couldn't even leave my house. I was agoraphobic. Now I'm forced to stay in my house, and I've been able to, like, oh, you were having anxiety about stupid things in the past, but now you have real anxiety problems. Like, oh, I don't want to get sick. I don't want to die. I don't want a family member to die. So I've been really wrestling with that, and I've been journaling a lot about it. And I've been using this stillness time to work and reflect. And so when I get anxious, instead of being like, I can't be anxious right now, I have a workout to do, I have to go to work, I got to do this, I got to do that, blah, 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 I stop. I just say, why am I feeling this way? Where's this coming from? And I run towards it. I don't run away from it anymore. I run towards it. Be like, I have some time. What's up, anxiety? Why are you here? Why are you feeling this way? And I can sit with it. And I've actually gotten to know it so much better. And there's people out there that are freaking out every day. What if I wake up and have a panic attack today? Or what if I wake up with depression? Well, if you do, that's great, because then you can learn why it's there and
feel it.
How to deal with it and how to wrestle with it.
Yeah, you're talking here is we can realize it's a time that we can all reclaim our power.
Yes.
Like, we've all given away. Like, all right, boss. All right, store hours. You all tell me what I do every day. Like, wait, now it's all up to you. So again, it's going to take getting used to, but reclaim it. So I take responsibility for my life. And today, all right, I'm doing these 3 things. And when I'm done that thing, it's done. I'm not going to fall back into it. And when I have extra time to just sit and chill, meditate, read, to take a bubble bath, like all the, leisurely things that perhaps you did not have room for in your life, that maybe you've even never done it. Like, now's the time to experiment again, to be willing to go within, or if you're going to go outward and learn a new skill. And what are the dreams you kind of let go of for maybe decades ago that you always wanted to try and practice and experiment with? There's just so much opportunity here. Like, it really, we can all see this time as a gift, or you can see it as a horrible thing that you dread and you want to complain about it. What feels better? Like, if that honestly feels good to you, I'm not gonna. Who am I to say that it does? It shouldn't. It's wrong or anything. I wouldn't say anything's wrong. I always say, like, how do you feel? Right? If you're smiling and joyous, like, hey, I love sharing shitty stats about how we're all doomed. I haven't met that person, but maybe someone is like that. I don't know.
It's so funny you talk about reclaiming the power, because I think that's like the message that you and I are both really trying to forego here, is that it's just, you have those choices to make. So I've been doing a lot more things out of love for myself, and I've had the ability to do it because, you go to work and your boss tells you what to do, and you got to deal with, shitty customers. You have your coworkers yelling at you, and then you go to your gym and your coach is yelling at you and telling you what kind of workouts you have to do. And then you come home and, even if you don't have anyone yelling at you, you still make choices based off of your structure and your routine. Like, oh, I can't read a book because tonight I really need to get a good night's sleep because tomorrow I have to wake up because I have a big meeting and oh, there's the dominoes and it's falling. Your life is now, you're now listening to other people. Now you have the ability to make choices for you and to make choices out of love. I have been doing a lot of cooking for myself. Before it was like, oh man, I'm tired. I just worked a long day. I'm just going to stop at Subway and get myself a sandwich and go and eat it. And then you go there, you get your sandwich and man, I would love like a nice steak with a sweet potato and some broccoli and a gin and tonic for dinner, but I don't have time to cook it, so I'm just going to eat this Subway sandwich. No, now we have all the time in the world. Make yourself a steak every damn night. And you brought up, however you feel is going to help you get through this is if you're one of those people that shares all the negative stuff and it makes you happy, then do it. Yesterday, and this is one point I really wanted to hit home on this with you, is that yesterday I had two different conversations. One friend was saying, we're all doomed. We're going to fall into a depression. We're going to become a third world country and World War III is going to start. And this is probably the end of the world as we know it. He's telling me this whole spiel and we're going on. And that's what he believes in. He kept saying, I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. He's a very, very smart person, listens to a lot of stuff, consumes a lot of media. And he has a lot of information based off of past facts in the history of things that have happened, World War II and, the Great Depression and how this, can emulate that and whatnot. And then later on in the day, I had the same conversation with somebody else that was talking about, man, when this is all over, you know how many people are going to be going out in public and going on hikes together, and we're going to see so many people outside, and everyone's going to be so appreciative to be outside and happy, and we're going to be spending so much more time together. People are going to be going on vacations, and restaurants are going to be even better, and it was like, who do you choose to be? Make that choice. Do you want to be the world is ending, I'm super anxious, I'm depressed, I'm scared, I don't know? Listen, we're all scared. I'm scared as hell. Me and you aren't afraid to admit stuff like that. I'm terrified. I wake up with anxiety a lot, but then I make those choices. It's out of my control. If I'm anxious every single day and the world ends, how did I spend the last 2 months of my life? Anxious and depressed and sad in my house. Or I can change my perspective and I could think about those happy times. And then if the world ends, how did I spend my last 2 months? I don't know, learning how to play the piano, taking online classes, listening to podcasts, and trying to be happy. I'd rather go that way than the other way.
Yeah. And again, all the time, and especially now, you mentioned, you're doing things to love yourself. So there's always the choice, love or fear. And one could be easier to dive into. You could be used to one more than the other, but making your decisions based on love, feeling love for yourself, spreading love to someone else. It always just feels better than the choice of fear. Fear is constraining and it feels gross in your body and we feel tight and small. So yeah, pay attention to what you're spreading, what you're consuming, and its impact on you. And, I think if we all do that, we all come out of this, we all exit our tomb someday and be more grounded, joyous, appreciative. Like, I don't go to McDonald's. I'm like, I'm in a McDonald's. Wow, look at people in McDonald's. Like, everything will be extra gratitude and appreciated. And the going to a restaurant will be a big deal. It's almost like all the things we took for granted will have a bit of more magic about them once you're allowed to do them again. So everything the first conversation that you had of like, oh, this, it's the end of the world as we know it. Again, the as we know it part, that's the key. It's not the end of the world. It's the end of the world as we know it.
We don't know it. We don't know shit.
Yeah. Like, great. And again, we see all the pictures of clearing pollution and better, it said animals coming back, the planet thriving. And it reminds me, one of my favorite old movies was 12 Monkeys, where humans are living underground and wild animals are roaming the streets of cities. And now we see pictures like that's happening already. So, the planet's fine. The planet's healing. And it's all I'm showing is that we can too. Right? We can become better. We can feel better. And it's taking ownership. It's taking responsibility. It's being willing to feel and recognize fear and then acting anyway.
Right.
Because action cures fear. Like if I'm afraid, again, you feel it in your body when you get constrained. You're just going to sit in a corner and be afraid and do nothing. That's fear winning. That's giving up to fear. But you can be afraid. I'm like, I don't know what's going to happen, but well, I'm going to do this. Right? I don't know what the hell's going to happen today, but I'm going to try Krav Maga. Well, I'm going to pick up some laundry baskets, and I'm not going to read these encyclopedias. I'll push them over my head. Yeah.
It really is. It's just, you make the choice how you want to spend this pandemic, how you want to be stuck, because we're all stuck in the house together. We're all in this together. So if you don't come out of this a better person, then you'll never have more, we won't ever have an experience in our life where we won't have responsibilities, and we're forced to stay at home, and we're forced to be with ourselves. And if we don't, if you don't realize that right now, you could waste all these months of being still, and then you're going to go back to your rat race. And then in a year from now, hopefully when things are a new norm and we're experiencing what the new life is going to be like after all this, if you're still having the same emotions and the same feelings as you did before going into this, that's on you. You have the chance. You can do it. It's scary, but you can do it. You just have to feel.
Cool. Awesome. So I wanted to keep this as brief as we can, as we both like to talk, but is there any kind of last thing? If someone is really isolated, people that are stuck home and they're alone, any final tip for someone like that just really is emotionally feeling that isolation?
If you're emotionally feeling that isolation, and you don't have any form of media, if you don't have internet, if you don't have phone, you can't, there's so many things that we can do. We can FaceTime, we can Zoom, we can hop on social media. I just FaceTime my friends. We don't even say anything. I talked to my buddy the other day while I was cooking dinner, and he was down on the phone. He was hanging out with his sister, and they were playing, his little sister, they were playing a video game together, and I was making food. We didn't talk, but just being there and having that connection and just randomly saying things was nice. So anyone out there that's really isolated, learn who you are. Get with yourself, because when we come out of this and you can go back into the grocery store and you can see old friends and family members, why don't you be the person you really want to be? Why don't you stop telling yourself those lies of you don't have time or I can't do this? Stop running away from what hurt you and start healing and walking towards love.
Cool. Beautiful. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you for making time in your day of loving yourself this Easter Sunday. Thank you for making time for me and all of our listeners. Everybody out there listening that check this out. Yeah. I say it all the time to end shows, but I can't mean it any more than right now, but be good to yourself, right? That's the ultimate opportunity here for your choices, your power, your responsibility. Choose to be good to yourself. All right. Until next time, stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll talk to you soon.
God bless.
Everybody. Thank you for listening to Real Men Feel. Contact us at realmenfeel@gmail.com. Learn more about Andy Grant at theandygrant.com. Please subscribe to this podcast and leave a review on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, TuneIn, or wherever you are discovering Real Men Feel.